I also know that it can. Basketball is just so different from other sports. Its basic playing space, 50 feet by 90 feet, is much smaller than a soccer or football field, which can be up to 4 times as long. Basketball players, like people in the world at large, must navigate shared space. In so doing, they must closely observe and successfully understand each other. With no equipment and playing basically in undergarments, they are exposed to one another, teammate to teammate, teammate to opponent, and participant to spectator, up close and clearly. And in basketball, all participants do all things. No one is prohibited from going to any particular place on the court or doing more or less than anyone else. Not so in football, where player positions and functions are strictly defined, specialized, and differentiated. Baseball is ultra-positional, particularly when it comes to the pitcher. Even in soccer or hockey, where the principles of movement somewhat approximate basketball, defensive players typically don't spend much time in the offensive area, and the uniquely positioned goalie has radically different powers than the other players. In basketball, players switch between offense and defense in an instant. There's no separate unit to do one or the other. In life, as in basketball, we often must change our position fluidly and without warning to meet changing circumstances. In other large field and court sports, it's possible that over the course of the game, certain players may never even come near one another. That's not possible in basketball. In basketball, everyone on the court is intimately, in a relational and spatial sense, tied to everyone else. I'm not saying other sports don't teach us wonderful things. I'm saying this sport is particularly good at showing us how to be in this world with each other and make it better. I'm making an objective observation. The game is more human in size, interaction, structure, and participatory experience. As a result, applying basketball as a worldview would be a lot more apt to solving the problems of humanity. In 2019, I finally got the opportunity to test the idea of basketball as a philosophy with a course I began teaching at New York University called How Basketball Can Save the World. The genesis of the class took the form of a question. Isn't it time to look to new systems of thinking, leadership, problem-solving, efficiency, fairness, and equality? For thousands of years, the world has been led by the same kinds of leaders: monarchs, generals, clergy, politicians, economists, lawyers, and captains of industry. Those leaders and thinkers created societal practices and schools of thought, isms, like capitalism, socialism, communism, nationalism, isolationism, utilitarianism, theism, and so on, to manage and make sense of the world. Century after century, they based their policies and plans on these great isms, believing they made the world more just, more efficient, more productive, more meaningful. The result? After millennia of the same kinds of leaders continuing to employ the same kinds of thinking, is a world more broken, more confused, and more conflicted than ever. Why not look to a ubiquitous global phenomenon that has continued to grow faster in popularity, relevance, influence, and impact than almost any other human activity over the past century? Basketball. The 13 principles that underlie this book are a numeric homage to the original 13 rules of basketball devised by James Naismith. They are distilled from what Naismith intended the game to be, how it has operated globally ever since, and what the world has told us the game means. I explicitly wanted to elevate the study of basketball to the same plane as political science, history, music, or any other academic major. In the years since the class began, I have been honored to host a revolving congregation of Naismith Basketball Hall of Famers, award-winning filmmakers, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalists, best-selling authors, global tastemakers, peacemakers, playground legends, anthropologists, sneaker mavens, league commissioners, artists, photographers, urban planners, entrepreneurs, leaders of indigenous peoples, and even a former star player turned globally acclaimed mezzo-soprano. The very first class met on the court at Nike's New York City headquarters. Every student